Yeah, it's wild, man, how you can't tell just from a glance who's real and who's not out there. Like we were just talking about your Instagram. Dude, cars, beaches, handsome guy, pretty girl and everything. And you look at it and you're like, oh, this is obviously fake because that's what everybody wants. But you've actually earned that life. So David Carpenter, dude, really happy to have you on the program.
Thank you so much for having me here. Yeah, Adam, Justin, it's an honor. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, likewise, man. I did really appreciate it. And just real quick before we kick off, this is brought to everybody by the Earn Your Booze coaching program, because we started Earn Your Booze back in 2017. It was a way to essentially, work hard and have fun and improve your life and not just drink because it's Friday or anything like that. But the number one question we always had, especially selling a ton of apparel and doing events, was, well, how do I earn it? And so the Earn Your Booze coaching program is the answer. So the answer is essentially right behind you. It's earn it all. So if somebody goes, well, Justin, how do I earn my booze? Well, like take you, for example, if you have your mind squared away, your body squared away, your finances, like you're happy with who you are and what you're doing with your life, and you decide to have some drinks on the weekend, I feel like that's just adding a little bit of icing to an already awesome life.
Correct.
So our goal here is to help everyone earn everything, level up the areas, especially in their health, because we're talking about alcohol. Yeah. And if they can do that, that's how we say they earn it. So that's our coaching program that sponsored this thing today. So anyways, awesome. Dude, good to have you all the way in from Miami.
Yeah. It's good to be here. Yeah. My hometown.
Miami. Did you get much of that last hurricane down there? Or?
No, I didn't. Thankfully, South Miami, it passed by us. It was really light. And to be honest, I flew. I was like, hey, I work from Wi-Fi, so I'm not going to be here. So I actually flew into Dallas and I skipped the whole thing. As soon as it was announced, I was like, that's the plus side of being an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur like myself. Just be able to just pick up and go. So,
that's cool. Yeah, we were talking about you grew up here, and we went to rival high schools and stuff. And so when did you leave Arizona?
I left Arizona in 2013, the beginning of 2013. I just felt like I was ready. I'm from here. I'm established here. I know so many people here. It was like, I feel like God was calling my heart to say, go to Miami, go to a place where you really don't know anybody, build new networks, like reinvent yourself, discover who you are, leave all that old and kind of step into some new.
Yeah.
And it was a great decision.
And that's scary for a lot of people, but I like that. I like new. I like jumping into new projects. I love moving. Like I don't like the process of moving. We just moved him the other day. So I don't mean like the moving truck.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that, but I really love just how like you can physically pick yourself up and go somewhere else, and how it forces your whole routine to change usually.
Correct.
It forces your mind to change, what you see, what you hear, what you smell. I love that.
Yeah.
It freaks a lot of people out, but
it's literally the call to adventure. Mm-hmm. It's like the story of any hero or whatever. It's like we get the call to adventure, and I think men especially, we get that call to adventure. I've had a handful of times where it's like I need to do something else, and it's just like I'm going to pick up and go somewhere I know nothing about, or I'm going to go to some country and not even worry about a hotel. I'm just going to fly there and figure it out when I get there, And I think that's a healthy thing to do, especially for a young guy. It's like
that was the coolest part of the Navy, I think. Like, I don't know what Dubai's like, but we're going. Yeah. Never been to Greece, but we're going. Guam, is that a thing? Yeah, we're going. Like, just whatever. I don't know. Who cares, Yep. I think it's so cool. So what were you doing here? And when you left, like, let's get into your business life.
Yeah. So it's a great question to dive in on that. And actually the real reason why I left, but I got into business just like a lot of people. You want to have success. You want to take care of your family. You want to do nice things. And I didn't come from a really wealthy background. My mom was a single mom from Trinidad and Tobago. My dad was in prison when I was 16, basically my entire life. So I had to raise my sister, my little brother, and grew up here. And so at 16, I was the man of the house. I knew that from sports, I had to get into sales to start making some real money because I wasn't going to take a job at 16, 17, 18 and make any real money. Yeah. So immediately I get into business when I'm 18 years old. And I do a network marketing business, which I didn't make anything really there, but I built myself up. And if you could do network marketing for 5 years and try to survive in the amount of work it does, you really like are transforming yourself. So I got to really experience the delayed gratification and really when something's not working, it's really doing a work in you. And I matured a lot and I grew a lot. But at the end of that business, where the business actually went under, I transitioned to having to go get a serving job here at Pappadeaux's Seafood Kitchen, actually off the I-17 in Peoria.
Oh yeah, I just drove by it the other day.
Yeah.
I've always seen that, and I'm like, that looks good, but I don't know.
Oh my
I'm
God.
assuming it's
Don't
not.
do it.
You know?
Yeah, it's you go. I don't know honestly if it's good or bad anymore, but it was good at the time. Obviously, it sucks to serve there though.
Sure.
But I was there for 2 years. At the time that I transitioned, I lost my business. Girlfriend leaves me for another guy. Go ahead.
What was the first one that the MLM that didn't work? What was
It was
that?
Vima.
What was Vima?
It was actually founded out here. It's a health and wellness company called Vitamin. It's like vitamins, minerals.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that.
My dad did like Amway.
Yeah.
And
very similar.
all the Quick Star and all the whatever came after that.
So hard to make money in it. It is brutal, but you learn a ton.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because I mean, like I'm imagining from 16 to 21 or so for those 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you had to grow up fast because you had to learn how to talk to adults who would buy that stuff. There's no other 16-year-olds buying that, right?
Yeah.
So you had to grow up fast, how to communicate, how to sell, how to influence, and all that. That's cool. Yeah.
I remember having home events at like 18. I don't know how to publicly speak, but I have like 40 people coming over. So just putting myself in that situation where you have to. So that grew me a lot. And I transitioned, like I said, serving at that time when the business went under. Girlfriend leaves me, and I like am in this low place in my life, and I know that I'm not here to serve like at tables. I'm here to serve people, masses, have a business, and I just remember I need to go find something. So it's amazing when you go look and seek, and you really have a place where you're desiring change that really God can bring and open up the door. So I ended up finding this insurance company, and everyone was doing real estate, everyone's doing mortgages, but I wanted to go against the grain because I usually know like if everyone's doing something, I want to do the opposite. Great businesses are found when no one's really doing it. And I saw a niche I liked. I saw that I could scale it. I saw that it was helping people. It was a really great need, which is finances, which America, come on, it's always going to be a need.
Oh yeah.
So I decided to take my insurance exam. It took me a year to pass. 4 times I failed. It takes about a month for people to pass, if not 2 weeks.
I did mine a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
I did too.
You did too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So you guys know. It is brutal, but how long did it take you?
I studied, like you said, I probably studied for a month and a half or so. And then thankfully passed. I don't remember what I got, but I passed on my first time.
Wow.
And, but then from there, there's a lot to that business that people don't realize. A ton. I'm like, wait a minute, am I a doctor or am I an insurance guy?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I have to know about all these conditions and stuff. What is the deal? You know?
Literally the underwriting and everything. It's
it's wild.
It is wild.
Yeah.
But long story short, it took me a year to pass. During this same year, I end up like losing my only brother at the time. Dies in a drug overdose. And on top of that, I remember not having any money, credit cards maxed out. It's November, actually, 2016. So a year before you started your company. Yeah. And I remember looking at my mom and basically having to ask for rent. I didn't even ask. She knew. Moms know. I was so depressed. I was so broken. And this was a week after my brother's funeral. Yeah. And she gave me money for rent. And I looked at her and said, you'll never have to worry about money. If I go past this, I'm going to go do this for my brother and for you. And I take the money. I have to drive 4 hours away. Okay. So I do all of this, then have to go drive 4 hours away. I go stay with a buddy because I can't afford a hotel. And that buddy of mine knows someone there, which ends up being really sketchy. I have a bad feeling about it. I was right. They end up getting robbed. That night, I'm held up at gunpoint.
While you're there?
While I'm there.
With my money.
With the literally like no money. Like just, I'm like, what's going on? So this is the year before I get in this all commission based sales job that most people probably would even do it after the second time.
Oh yeah. And is this here in Phoenix?
This is here. And I know I drive to New Mexico, Albuquerque.
Okay.
So yeah, really not a great area. I found that out. And
a lot of good memories in Albuquerque.
A lot of great ones, yeah. So I end up waking up. I actually barely get sleep. Go take my exam and end up passing it. But that was that was a lot that led up to, I knew that if I passed it and I could go persevere through this, that I would have a crazy story. And I knew that if there's resistance, there's something great on the other side. I have to keep pressing into this. So I go finally take it, pass it, and life changes. I've had a ton of ups and downs, which we can get into, but that was like the first sign of like facing adversity, facing a lot of problems and challenges, but leaving my perspective as I want to dedicate this and make it out of this for someone that is going through something similar. I want this to be my life, not to be selfish, where I can go out and still like do something about my life, take care of my mom. That was a driving force, and be able to dedicate, the success and this legacy towards, my brother's life. Yeah. So that was kind of where this started. So prepared me for the next 7 years, which would be a roller coaster.
Was he a younger or an older brother?
He was my older brother. Passed away at 28. I was 22 at the time.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. Adam has a similar, unfortunately, experience.
Yeah, I lost my little brother this year at the beginning of the year.
So sorry.
Yeah. Different circumstances, but still equally as like, it's crazy. It's I'm sure you can empathize. It's one of those like, shit, I'll never talk to my brother again, kind of,
For sure.
It's like, yeah. Anyways.
That's what I think kind of messes me up if I think about like death. Like I have a 6-year-old and 2 other older stepdaughters. Like I got family, Yeah. And about death, when I think about it, is the fact that it's so sudden and permanent.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh man, someone's injured. I only got a little bit of time to talk to them. They might not make. No, if they like just leave, that's crazy how that void is just it's just there.
Just
like
there.
So like at 22, like that's super young for that to happen. And your older brother, I'm the oldest out of 3.
Wow.
So we always tend to look up to our older siblings. Like I mean, what was that like? If you don't mind talking about it.
It was different because he had so much talent. He was so smart. He book smart, right? I had a different mind, but his genius was like in arts, in math, in like engineering and all this amazing, incredible things. But that was like the first time where I got to witness how association can literally destroy you. And he got associated with the wrong group of crowd and got into drugs. And it was like, I just saw his life completely tank from college. And he was actually clean, when he had passed away, and it was a one-time trying it again where he had passed away. And broke my heart. My mom's, obviously my mom's not the same today. Sure. I've been able to really heal from that. But as a mom, I can't even imagine.
I hear that a lot especially when it comes with, I don't know much about it, but like cocaine and fentanyl and stuff, like how easy it is to have no idea what's going on. And this could be on this one time. Sure. This happens to kids in college all the time, from what I hear, okay, one time I'm going to try this and it has too much of whatever in it. And like the body can't handle it, and that's it.
Correct.
So it's not necessarily, like you said, to your point, of like just a lifelong thing that, breaks the body down. And that happens to a lot of people, obviously, but sometimes it happens like that.
Correct.
Guy was sober one time, something didn't go right. Our bodies they're resilient, but they're also extremely fragile. And if it shuts off, like chances are that's it.
Yeah.
So people got to be super careful. Like when it comes to like, when they say recreational drugs, it's just like, okay, but think about the consequence here. Like you know what I mean? Like let's really think about it. And you can speak to it way better than I can, obviously. But it's like, I don't know, how much fun are you going to get out of it? Is the risk and reward ratio worth it?
Yeah.
You really got to think about what you do with your body. And that's why even like with alcohol, we're like, okay, well, chances are whoever's listening, whoever I'm talking to should probably be drinking less.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how much somebody drinks, but you should probably be drinking less.
Yeah.
If not, none.
I could speak in on that. Let's, 2022 was one of the worst years of my life. And it was after I just had a great year. It was my first year making over 7 figures. And ended up like me and my fiance break up. I have like a year where I'm just in Old Town partying, like, honestly using drugs and drinking a lot. And it was miserable. I surrounded myself with the wrong people. And I remember just at the end of that year, a business partnership falls through and my income goes from X to X. It's like almost cut in half. And at that point, coming into 2023, it was like rock bottom for me. Spent a ton of money, pretty much all my money, if I'm being honest, at that point. Had this big house in Scottsdale, $2 million home, and just literally felt like the biggest fraud. And I'm preaching one thing, but going out and doing the complete opposite. And I think a lot of people are there. And it was it left me so broken, so lost. And that at that point was actually the next year really turning towards not giving up alcohol, really giving my heart over to God, and just really discovering who I am outside of all those things, and getting away from the crowd and moving differently, being okay with standing out, and diving more on that side of things. But I've been sober for about a year and a half. Like, I haven't had a sip of liquor.
Nice.
And obviously no drugs, really just focused, even in the point of I went on one date because I'm at the point where I'm focused on meeting a wife. So until I actually find a woman that I know that is going to be a great partner for the destiny that God has for me, I'm locked in. So it all started with giving up liquor. That's really where it started. And like, to your point, it was, for me, it was a unhealthy cope. Like, I was doing it because deep down I had a lot of things that I wasn't happy about. And I think a lot of people are there, and I want to encourage them to maybe drink a little bit less. Like, that was a turning point for me to get my business going, my mind going, my just everything, and get closer with God, get closer with my family, my relationships, just all aspects of my life. Really, that was the first step on that transformational path.
I love how you're able to experience that, because I say it a lot, but you've actually gone through that. Because a lot of people, I agree, drink because they need to create some fun or some excitement in their life. And that's how they do that. And it can be fun, obviously. You can make drinks and you feel different and you get funny and silly, or you let your guard down and whatnot. But they're doing that because they're creating something that doesn't already exist in their life. So that's why when you say, how do I earn it? Well, dude, if you're focused on everything. If you're happy with who you are, where your life is going, your health and all this kind of stuff, you naturally just want to drink less, because you're already happy. You don't have to create that happiness.
Correct.
So then if you do have a drink, it's usually just like, well, my life is awesome and now it's just a little better. And then if you don't overdo it, that's how we say you earn your booze. So that's kind of the whole mentality behind it. It's not just, okay, I think I'm going to drink, 9 beers tonight. I'll go burn off 9 pre or after. It has nothing to do about calories in and calories out. It's a whole mentality, really, of a lifestyle.
That's great
really
awareness.
I think people need it. Because alcohol is an interesting drug. It is a drug.
Correct.
And it's really interesting how, for most of my life, even my own stories, like it was just like it's not really a drug because it's legal. I can buy it at Safeway or the gas station or anywhere. It's just one of those things that we do. And especially in the world that I was in of, military and then the veteran community and aerospace, like everybody drank all the time for whatever reason. It was
and a lot.
Yeah. It was the weekend.
Put it down.
There's always there. And when you have a big friend group, there's always a birthday, there's always a concert, there's always something going on. So it's like, dude, but I love how, like you said, that was kind of the catalyst for like everything else to change.
Correct.
So I'd love to hear from your perspective how that worked for you, because sometimes people don't understand that. They think that I can still work on everything and still do this. Why would I give that up? But it's like, I think you might have something different to say.
For sure. Because that was the point where I started to realize I need new friends. That was the point where I became aware. And like, I really feel like that was the point where I leveled up, because now I realize that, hey, I have these friends because they're convenient when I want to go out and they look good and when I'm going out, and the things that we're doing, we're all in doing this thing that is hurting all of us, and we're just like not talking about it, but it's almost feeding your pride and not like really leading you to a place of your destiny. And I realized that I had nothing in common with a lot of the people that I was hanging out with. So at that point of being sober, I'm like, I need to go meet some new friends. And some of the guys are great, but it just, again, where I'm going, where I know that God has called me, I got to go higher. And for me to do that, I got to give up some stuff. So I ended up meeting a really great friend of mine who's also in the health and wellness business. His name's Justin too. And he's in Miami. And we start waking up at 5 a.m. Wake the sun up is like my thing. I woke up every day. It's before the sun, like for a year and a half or something like that.
Yeah.
We go work out at 6, very tough workout, and it just sets the day, the mood. And so that connection came from talking to a friend that was also really sober and really focused, a great man of God. His name's Stephen Weatherford, who I met. Yeah. So Steve connected me to Justin there.
Okay.
And slowly but surely, I start to meet people that I have a lot of common with, that are family men of value, men that have great families. And I see myself changing. Like a lot of the old stuff started to go away. Yeah. I give away all my designer. Okay. I used to be the guy that had to be a people pleaser, had to know that know that I'm successful. Hey, here, sure. Like this is me. I like get rid of my nice car. I start stewarding, managing my money at the time. I give away my chains, pretty much everything flashy that I had, gave it to my family, and just got to this place of humility and a place of pure freedom. And in this place, after like kind of the rise to going down, like I wouldn't say going down because I was still making decent money compared to a lot of people. This is where the transformation happened.
Well, that's what people don't understand too, is that money doesn't necessarily mean your life is great.
No.
Like some of the worst times of my life, I was making the most money.
Yeah.
Like the worst mental place I've ever been in, I was in a 458 Italia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the worst fucking mental, but something, people want the outcome, right? Yeah. But they don't want to change the inputs. And we get that a lot especially with Earn Your Booze, because they're like, well, tell me how I can drink a 30 pack this weekend. And I'm like, you can't.
Yeah.
Like, actually, you're going to come in and do this program with me. Actually, you're going to be sober for 12 weeks.
Wow.
And they're like, oh, but I thought this was Earn Your Booze. It's like, it is.
Wow.
You haven't earned shit yet.
Yeah.
And then after that 12 weeks, magically, well, they don't drink a 30 pack anymore. And if they do go drink, they have like a old fashioned or whatever, tequila on the rocks or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, and then there's a shift, and it's like, oh, if I want the outcome different, I have to change the inputs.
Yeah. And
it's like everybody wants that cool outcome, but they're not willing to actually make any changes, that could affect their day to day, right?
Yeah.
And that massive, dude, it's a massive change to get new friends. Like that's fucking crazy. Like I've done it before too, and it's like, like saying goodbye, and it's like saying goodbye to all these people that you're like really tight with, and and then they go through their whole thing, and it's like, you're a traitor, you're a piece of shit, you're all fucking high and mighty, whatever, and it's like, dude, no, I want something better for me. Why don't you come with me? Like, let's go get something better.
Yeah,
and that happened to me with quite a few people when I got into business. When I became business partners with Justin,
wow.
I had some friends from my past that were like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, well, fucking whatever. And I'm just like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you're not doing anything. And I'm doing, this next thing you're doing, whatever,
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you kind of just have to tune all that stuff out.
For sure.
I'd like to know how, because, we talked about like moving states and we talked moving business and partners and stuff like that. But I would like to know how that transition was from just being all about you and fun and your friends and stuff, going over and starting to meet guys that were all about God and being more, better men, and stuff like that. Cause we'll talk about this, but like, there's one thing, there's like how to be a good man and how to be good at being a man are different things. But specifically, I'd like to know, like, how was that transition? Getting into a space where like, I want to be closer with God and be around guys that are closer with him. And like, what's that? What was that like?
So good. I didn't even know it existed, to be honest, because when you're like, when you're there and all you know is all you know. And I really just speaking into the young entrepreneurs, especially in, Scottsdale or Miami, there's just a lot of facade and fakeness, like we talked about, where you feel like because you're making some money that you have to go out, that you have to drink, that you have to be kind of a people pleaser. And to be honest, a lot of them are compromising. They're in, you look at the fruit, maybe some success financially, but if you look at the relationships, how are they? If you look at their mental health, how is that? How is their health, actual health?
Right.
How is their, everything? I think success is really everything. And it wasn't there. So when I went to Miami and I met someone that is younger, he's like 38, married, doesn't really drink. They'll have a drink here and there, like on the weekends, but just focused. And then meeting other men that are putting God first, that aren't cheating on their wives. They're not looking to go out. They're super focused. They're stacking their wins. They're waking up early. They're doing all the different things. Like it was a whole different world. And I was like, this is what I've been longing for. Like this is the type of fulfillment and purpose in the things that are going to challenge me and make me better. And these guys are going to call me out on my crap. These are guys are going to call me and say, hey, you have an identity issue. You're a people pleaser. Like you got to work on your, these are the guys who actually love and care about me because they're real enough to be able to expose my weaknesses and call me higher, take me higher.
That's amazing.
Yep.
I mean, and then everything else kind of has to go with that.
Yeah.
Because like you said, like when you're in that space of like, okay, I'm making money and then my circle goes out and we party sometimes and we're always like competing for the new watch or the new thing or this and that, like that's just what you do.
Yeah.
But when you're in a different circle and you guys have different values, like your values change.
Correct.
So it's so true when they say, and it's so cliche and they say it all the time, like all the people around you, basically that's who you're going to become. So you do have to get into another group because if you do want to change,
agreed.
Dude, I think that's great, man. Congrats.
Thank you.
Like how good does that feel to know that like you, like I'll say you made it, like I know we can always get closer and a stronger connection with God, but like you actually got in there and I can tell you're happy with it. And you mentioned God probably 7 or 8 times before we even started talking about it.
Yeah.
For
sure.
It's a big part of your life, huh?
It's different when you have peace with the finances.
Okay. Yeah.
It's different when you have the peace because you're doing things that are healthy. You have healthy environment. You have healthy relationship. You have you're working on all aspects. Like you're saying, like being what's the point of making all the money, but your daughter doesn't want to talk to you?
Right. What's
the point of like making all the money and finally getting there just to know that no one's there with you? So like this second piece of it is like, I've had, I'm doing amazing financially, but the reason why I have like this piece is that relationship with God. It's because I've really realized what's the true treasure in life. It's the connections, the relationships that you have. It's the people you love and care about. And when you have money, it enhances all of that. It's like, that's even the tipping point of it. But like now you're striving because you can make a greater impact and you're doing things to solve more people's problems. You could do it through a purpose. You're not trying to impress other people and you're on your own lane. Like nothing feels better than that.
Yeah. You can basically do what you need to do.
Yeah.
You have more tools in your toolbox.
For sure.
And if you want to be charitable to a person or a church or an organization, you can do it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's, much, to be excited about if you're like, oh, I'm just the greatest person ever. I don't, like I've never harmed anybody. I'm so close with God. But can I borrow $5?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what if you were the person that was able to loan $5,000 to somebody or was able to just randomly give 5 figures to your church?
Yeah.
Like, dude, how cool is that?
Correct.
You're able to help so many more people.
Yeah.
So, but you're making your money how many different ways now?
Agreed. That's so good.
I have life insurance.
Yeah, through the bit. So I built a company within the company. So
okay. Yeah.
We have things called, we have residual income. So all the policies. So now I'm in a place where I live completely on passive income, which is really great.
Nice.
Been able to build that, but also build and scale the business. So I get to develop leaders. That's really what I do.
Yeah.
Is find people that are really having the characteristics that I can focus on, mentor, and take them higher. And I'll be able to help so many people make 6 figures. I'll have a couple people have made 7 figures from mentoring them and be able to see them transform their lives. Like literally, to add to your point on that, like my ministry or my mission is taking people higher. Like there's no greater call where you forget the money and your purpose is like, I get true pleasure in showing up and giving my all and serving someone at the highest level that I possibly can and pouring out every day and having a max schedule and doing things that push me like that. Yeah. Like there's just so much greatness in that.
I was going to say how much of, these guys that you're mentoring, how much of their success is you teaching them about fucking insurance or whatever?
Barely any of it.
Right?
Yeah, barely any of it. It's just what we use.
Yeah. It's just the mode of transportation for
correct
all the gas that you're pouring on the other stuff. Yeah.
It's the same principles that you guys use, that you've studied. that principles of leverage, principles of management of your money, principles of mindset, and being able to see through problems and being able to push through challenges, leadership, empowerment, right? Delegation, like all these different same principles in building a company is the same things that we use and teach.
Yeah. It all comes back to, in my experience, it all comes back to will, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you have the will to do it? Do you have the will to do whatever it takes in order to get the big vision that you have, right?
Yeah.
You had the will. You just did. Like, you're like, nope, I'm going to fucking, drive 4 hours. I'm going to do that. Took the year. Like most people can't do anything for a month, right? But it's like, no, you had the will to just stick with it and fucking, no matter what. It's like, no, I don't care who's teaching me what or where I'm learning it from or whatever. So as long as you have the will to do it, you can accomplish it.
For sure.
And that's the one piece that people don't understand, especially in the fitness space, is like, I can give you, and I've said this so many times, like I can give you a perfect plan and program and nutrition and all this stuff. But if you don't have the will, then you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah. And
like, that's the main thing, especially when you're mentoring guys on anything, business, their profession, their health, whatever, is like, you actually have to have the will in order to make that change.
Yeah.
Because if you do, none of the information I'm telling you is going to matter, because you're going to fucking get it done no matter what.
Yeah. That's a part of earning it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. I want to ask you about life insurance, kind of a nerdy question, because it gets a bad rap sometimes. And we were both in it, and I stayed in a little bit longer, but I was in it for a while. And,
were you a broker, or were you under a company?
Yeah, we were at FFL.
Okay.
Yeah. But we were with Brad Lee at Real Financial, which is a division
I
of
know
FFL.
Brad. Yeah.
So I built the team out, and I think I got up to 20 something people on it.
Awesome.
But we were doing mostly with the team, like final expense type stuff, someone dies, a benefit for them. It took me a while to figure out that there's actually a lot more money to be made in like the IBC, infinite banking type things, and rolling over 401ks into these other things and still accessing your money. And I was like, oh, now we're getting somewhere,
Yeah.
Because and I did one. We did one like maybe 2 years ago. My wife and I, we were like, actually, this looks so good.
The overfunding.
We're going to do this. We need to do this,
Awesome.
So I'm curious, like, to the skeptic out there, like, what makes like your mentoring and the way you do it to where you are able to get people successful? Because a lot of people jump in. Like, it's a very interesting sounding business, and like it's an easy concept to grasp.
For sure.
But then it doesn't seem like that many people make it.
Yeah.
So like, what's different about what you teach them? And it's
awesome.
It's more than just the finances, obviously.
I would say a lot of people don't make it in most things. So you're always going to have that. But I would say the things that really separate is the proper example, finding people that are really constantly in the field. They're going to give you the scripts. They're going to show you exactly what to do. They're going to have you present with them, and you're watching them. They go back and forth. Next thing is drills. I think it's so important to sharpen the way that someone sounds. We know that communication is not just what you're saying, it's how you're saying it, it's your delivery, it's your pace. So we're going to work on that. We're also going to make sure that you're getting poured into belief, mindset, leadership skills. We're going to give you a vision. We want you focused on not right now, because right now sucks. We get it. But where are you going in 10 years from now?
Yeah.
So we have this system, this process that we've built out, and it's really focused on all the things we wish we had. I think that's where the best systems and processes come. But we have someone to scrub your apps so your quality is good. We have basically built out where everything that you need, you're going to get more mentorship and help, because we're a $140 million team that we're a part of. I'm a partner with them. We're only doing X amount, 8 million this year, but you get access to everybody. Yeah. So we flip leadership on its head. We come from a place of service. We want to make you look good. We want to highlight the producer. We want to make sure that if you're giving us 100%, we're not going to give you nothing. We're not really going to give you the help that you want if you're showing up. These are my criteria, if I can go through them with you guys.
Yeah.
Number one, like what I look for when I go all in and we choose someone, I like to call it, and being a no matter what is what I call it, is making you successful no matter what, because you really earned it or qualified for my time.
Sure.
So this is how I qualify someone. Number one is coachability. Like, you're going to waste your breath if you're sitting there and they're not taking notes, they're not even listening to you. It's like you could just basically, just hang the pay up the call. It's not worth it. The second one is the attitude. attitude of gratitude. Someone that's going to come in that they're going to get their phone, they can go, someone hung up on them. Things are going bad, but they're going to have the optimism. Their lens is that, okay, how do I adjust? How do I get better? What did I learn from this? How can I improve on this? So again, setting that as the expectation of this is expected for you to have a good attitude and not come here defeated, because if you stay defeated with your attitude and you start to speak that, you're out. So that's the second thing. The third thing is someone that's committed to getting better. I don't care how good you are when you come in. I was really, really bad at sales and in leadership, but someone that's focused on getting a little bit better every single day is someone that is going to become someone on top. If they're consistent with it long enough, it's inevitable for you to become successful. Yep. And the last one is you gotta be willing to recruit. You got to be willing to share the opportunity. I know it's uncomfortable, but if you're not the one recruiting, you're the one working for someone that's recruiting.
Totally.
So it's like, this is what we expect. And if they have that, then we're going to put them in a position, not focusing on everybody, but focusing on the one or two that is coming with that and showing that they're memorizing their script. They're showing up. They're like, those are the ones we help win no matter what. So if you qualify in that perspective, we're like, your chances of success are good, really good.
And that's why you have such success, because you're qualifying these people on merit and only merit.
Yes.
And it's like that. And, look at the landscape of the world today, especially in America, is like, where is the merit?
Come on.
Like, nobody cares about like this whole DEI crap, whatever. It's like, no, where's your merit?
Yeah.
How hard are you willing to work?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to be here early? Are you going to stay late? Are you going to make 5 more calls? Are you going to make 10 more calls?
Yeah.
Like, how bad do you fucking want it?
Yeah.
Not how much can we give to you?
Yeah.
Like, I like that a lot. Where it's like, yeah, we'll give you everything if you want it.
Yeah.
Like, how much do you want?
Yeah.
Like, how much help do you want? Like, come back to us again and ask again. Like,
really about the earning thing.
Yeah.
Like everything you guys are saying, it goes back to that
totally.
That principle, that concept is, if they would just do that, you guys as leaders, as business owners, you know what to look for.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what is really qualified. And they don't even know that if they were to actually just show up the best version of themselves and hungry and coachable, you'll probably give them an opportunity over time after they
100%.
prove themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. You said something that's a theme that I've seen in various industries now. And when people go into one thing, so they go into fitness or they want to go make money, they're looking at it like a sniper, and they want to go in, okay, well, how do I sell the most? How do I make the most money? Or how do I get the most jacked or lose the most fat or something like that?
Yeah.
And I think the reason most people fail is because they don't look at the bigger picture. And like you said, you develop them mostly outside of how to make money.
Yeah.
What's your mind like? What is your self-belief like?
Yeah.
What's your confidence like? Do you feel like you're around people that actually have your best interests at heart?
Yeah.
Are you around people, and this is what you show them as a good leader, that you believe have their back? And when you do that for somebody, then they can really unlock and be like, oh, I understand how to fill in the blank now, make money, lose weight, put on muscle, because I'm developing myself in all these different areas. Going back to the earn whatever it is you want to earn, and back to earn your booze. It's if you want, like it's everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I think probably in life insurance and basically anything, are not successful when they're just hyper focused on, I just want this result.
Come on.
And they're just like, I just want that. And they're just ignoring, they're just staring at that thing.
That's so good.
And they're just ignoring all the other stuff they're supposed to be doing, which is the real answer how to get there. Because when it comes down to it, like, yeah, you can memorize a script. You can get great at understanding preconditions or, whatever qualifying conditions are. You can understand all these different things.
Yep.
But if like you don't come in there just on fire and ready to learn and be coached and do all these different things as a part of a team,
Come on.
it ain't gonna work.
So good.
So my hat is off to you. It's doing that as a leader of a real team.
Lord of God. I just want to speak in on that. Too many people they're into the doing, but not the becoming. Yeah. And it's like, we're human beings, not human doings.
That's great.
So if you like focus on that, if you forget about the doing and you focus on the development side, the having will come as a byproduct.
I want to write that down.
No, that's a really good point. Yeah. So now you're doing that full time, right?
Yeah.
And are you mostly kind of running the team and growing the team?
Yeah. So I still sell, like I'll go 3 times a year. The leaders will all go out and we'll go in the field and we'll show them and we'll lead from the front, and we'll make sure we do that.
And are you doing final expense or IBCs? Or?
So final expense, we're through Globe Life insurance company. Okay. So we're actually with one insurance company. We're captive, and we get to, I built like entrepreneur. I built the company within there. So we have, basically, that entire company. So my role now is to oversee a lot of it, like really on the company side, but yet still go down in the trenches where I'm meeting with the newest person. I want to, like the new people that are coming in, I'm doing vision casting. Like right when you get hired, I'm going to go, like, I want to go find the talent and bring them, make sure that placements are correct, people with the right people. So just because I'm up, I'm really, really down. And I'm really big at building great relationships with people as they come in and making them feel accepted and a part of the culture. And I want them to buy into us. I think that's something that as leaders, we kind of get away from, is it's like, okay, like the new person comes in, but if you take care of the new person, and you get them believing and you identify the talent, you put them with the right people, make sure they have the right resources to win. That's how you really scale.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and it's more than just signing somebody onto the team and giving them something to read on a PowerPoint or something, or here's your script. And,
way more.
How come you're not, figuring it out? It's like, no, it's way more than that. And and I think a lot of people that jump into an opportunity can understand what it means to be all in from, like, say, an employee perspective. But a lot of leaders kind of miss that mark. What it means to be an all in leader. Come on. They just think, maybe they've made it at whatever level they think they've made it at, and now I'm going to build a team or I'm going to build a business, but I'm just going to kind of play business instead of, like you said, I'm up, but I'm down in the weeds. I'm down in here doing these things and teaching people and leading by example. And that's where a lot of leaders, I think, miss the mark. Yeah. Because
it's a lot easier to sit on your high horse and tell everyone what to do. It's a whole nother thing to go down and show everybody.
Because it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Like, that'd be great if you could just sit up and be like, I'm Caesar and I get whatever I want. Everything's cool.
We know what happened to Caesar.
Yeah. Exactly. We know what happened to Caesar. Yeah.
There's a lot of knives in Caesar's back.
I think it's so important that as a leader, you have that humility too. It's like recognizing people, continue to make them feel special. It's not about you. The second it starts to be about you, it's like, that's the second I really feel like something's going to happen later on where you'll kind of get a wake up call. And that's, I think that's important for sure.
Yeah. Marcus Aurelius had a guy, he had I guess a servant that his sole job was to walk next to him and whisper in his ear when he was getting all the adoration from everybody.
Wow.
You're just a man. You're just a man. You're just a man. Like, so.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. I just remembered that.
Keeping that ego in check.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn.
Just a man. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you also do, you said a kingdom entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool term right there. So tell me about that, because you've talked about your experience with your brother and getting off alcohol and getting around people and men that are closer to God and everything. Yeah. So is that something that you do with your business, or is it just someone's interested, they do it on the side? How does that work?
So where I came from, the guy that was partying, seeking validation and like broken, lost in a lot of the space of entrepreneurism, especially in your 20s and 30s, like, you need a good group of men, right? And my heart, like, God put it on my heart where I should start this Bible study. So I have this like Bible study that grew from like a couple guys to like 100+ people.
Oh, wow.
And it's just entrepreneurs. Yeah. And in like, I've just got to see like how God's transformed their hearts, but these guys are getting off of like, liquor and booze and just like building good relationships with people. It's my way of giving back, but there's no financial gain. It's completely a nonprofit. And even this last event was like 40 grand. So I had to come out of pocket like 20 G's, but it was the best feeling ever, because it was like the money that I'm putting in is not money that I'm not getting out. And it was just having to do with watching people's lives transform. And I got to see how God has just moved in that place where we've had great speakers, and it's just people that you really want to learn from, people that are not just financially successful, but also are living a life by design and living a life of integrity and honor And these are people you want to learn from. So that's my heart, is taking these men off the street, kind of per se, this old town thing,
Sure.
and using my story as a way to, you know, speak into them and pour life into them. And I'm young, 30 years old, and I'm living this way. And I think that's really more on the rare side.
Yeah.
Of so these guys, the things I used to struggle with, I use as that you know, to pull them up, pull them higher. So that's kind of like my thing to give back.
It's super cool. And back to earlier where you're talking about having the means to be able to do stuff like that, like as a donation or a support or something. And, you know, because especially I think in that world, like people think that a lot of them do, at least, that money is bad, you know, and all that. Terrible. It's just like, well, dude, like you wouldn't have been able to put 20 grand down on a Bible study event and not sweat it and feel good about it if you didn't have the means to do that.
Correct.
You know? So how effective could you be, you know, just talking with someone one-on-one or maybe on social media or something? Yeah. Like even before this started, we were talking about how important it is to do things in person.
Yeah.
Come on. Which is why we do our men's groups and all this stuff as much as we can in person. But that takes money.
Yeah.
And not everyone can pay to do stuff like that sometimes. So if you're serious about spreading the word of God and having this Bible study, and you got all these guys who want to come together, but there's a venue rental and there's coffee and these other things, and you can do it.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool.
I was speaking on that. Like the Bible says the root, the love of money. It's the love of money is the root of all evil,
not
right?
Money
it's
itself.
Not money itself.
Yeah.
And imagine only the evil people in the world have all the money. Imagine that there was no good-hearted people that actually stewarded money. Like, what would God be able to do? How would he be able to move into men to be able to start the charities and start the great foundations? Like, imagine that.
Yeah, you don't stand a chance.
You don't stand a chance. Like, so just as much as like, okay, there's people that are called to fund, like, just like that is their calling and purpose. And I think it's like, if you have the means to do it, like, that's such a great feeling, man. Like making it so you can go do something like that is that's the greatest feeling.
Do you know who Joseph of Arimathea was?
No.
So my middle name is Joseph, and I have a friend that has like a whole thing about like past lives and all this and that. But and so he thinks that there's something connected between us. But it's kind of neat, kind of interesting to think about. But Joseph of Arimathea was essentially when Jesus was crucified. He was a wealthy guy that lived in the area. That essentially donated the tomb that they put Jesus in.
Right.
So he helped take him down and help and donated it because Jesus, I guess, didn't have any money or anything, you know. And there was a cost. There's a cost for everything.
Wow.
But that guy wasn't bad. You know, he's solidified himself in history, especially in the major Christian religion, as being a guy that had the means to be able to put Jesus to rest for his 3 days.
It's awesome.
How crazy is that?
It's awesome.
You know?
I also want to say too, Jesus had a treasurer, the guy who portrayed him. Like, you don't have a treasurer unless you got some money in there. So, but that story, that's a really great perspective, and I agree.
I mean, because that's so cool, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure, it'd be great if like it just happened, but like I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like I was like, oh, well, there's a tomb, and I don't know, it just worked out, you know. No, but there was actually a guy that owned it that was actually able to make that happen. So that's super cool, man.
It's awesome.
So is that something you said you do in person, but is it online too? Or how does it work?
We have like these Bible studies Monday through Friday. They're about an hour long, and we use biblical principles. Like all the principles you see, they're in the Bible. Like all the same success principles, they're in there. So we'll teach them this, but also on the other side too, it's like we'll also talk about like living a right life, like righteous life, right standing with God, and what that looks like, and pouring things in that from a voice that they probably just like you guys, like there's a voice that will connect to the certain person. Oh yeah. So using that, you know, talking about truth and talking about things that most people aren't talking about, like God, living right, you know, stewarding your business, not going out blowing everything, not going out. You're teaching people how to actually not just get success, but keep it. Not just get a wife, but keep her. Not just have kids, but flourish them, grow them, empower them. Like these are things that will cause a ripple effect really for generations. So that's why I'm hungry about it. It's like, cool, you know, I'm always going to make money, but I love the, you know, just like your event. Tell me more about this. Like I think that's awesome, where you take what you've learned and you take the finances and this is where you get to give back and be able to pour in, like that's incredible.
Well, I mean, so there's 4 pillars, right? So it's direction, purpose, action, and resilience. And as you're talking about what you're doing with your Bible study, to me, that sounds like that's your purpose.
Yeah.
You know, you have the means to do other things or, you know, what you choose to do, but that's something that you're finding a lot of purpose in. You're not doing it for money or financial gain or, you know, personal gain. And I'm sure that there's good feelings that come from it, of course, but you're helping other guys.
Yeah.
And that's essentially where True North came from. You know, if you think that's a direction, you know, north is a direction, and a lot of guys are kind of missing that direction. They're so like, it's kind of funny, like, and it's not funny, it's kind of sad, but it was a realization we had after training a lot of guys in fitness. A lot of these guys that do go to the gym, they work on themselves, they're disciplined, they get up early, they do the things we tell them to do, they're still lacking a purpose. And they're still, and especially like imagine like all of us sitting here, we're all in great shape, but there isn't like a big united, like, you know, evil force that we have to go fight against physically, like a world war. Hopefully there never is, you know, anything like that, like previous generations have had something to kind of like, okay, that's my focus.
Yeah.
That's why I need to be strong. That's why I need to be mentally tough. Yeah. That's my purpose. I'm going to go defeat that. Awesome. A lot of guys don't have that now.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for them, I think, to find, well, why am I doing this? Even why do I exist? Yeah. Like, why do I go work so hard on my body? Why do I work so hard on myself? Like, and like, what is the point of all this, you know? And that's something we identified and like, well, we need to help fix that.
Yeah.
Because us as men, we need to be providers and protectors. We need to know how to preside. Like we know how to do these things that are kind of like a lost art.
Yeah.
You know, and
Amen,
so that's what we do in person at True North. Awesome. You know, and it's everything. We talked about it a little bit beforehand, but if you imagine like if we were going to be like, okay, David, let's find whatever holes you have in your game, no matter where they're at. Okay, what would we do? Well, we'd probably do some physical fitness stuff and see how you're doing there. We would do some mental stuff there and see how tough you are. Maybe, you know, sit in a sweat lodge or, you know, have you speak in front of guys about stuff you don't like to talk about, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or we'd also, like we do every time, we figure out, okay, well, how is the spirit doing? So we do things like breath work and we do these things that, you know, get guys laying in a room together, breathing, which is kind of a weird thing to be laying next to your buddy doing this heavy breathing, you know.
It's so powerful.
And then next thing you know, like crying and like there's all this stuff, but and it's stuff that we normally avoid as men.
Yeah.
You know, so what we do is we intentionally do things that we know guys are going to struggle with and probably fail at some level. And it's obviously it's not to, you know, put them down or anything like that. It's to be like, oh no, that's something to work on.
Yeah.
You know, and there's easy things like, oh cool, you couldn't do that hike. Okay, well, let's work on that.
Yeah.
We need to lose 50 pounds, you know? Or it's like, how come, you know, why'd you get out of the sweat lodge? Oh, it was it was hot for the same other 30 guys. You know what I mean? Like what happened, you know? And then we go through and, anyways, long story short is.
It was really hot.
We call it men's development because a lot of stuff out there for men is like kind of work hard, be tough. But it's like, okay, well, how am I ever going to test that? I train. I'm never in a fight. I'm never in a war. I have no idea what I'm actually capable of. I don't know if I would actually run towards or away from danger. Like I have no idea. Most guys have no idea. Life is so freaking easy. We have to pay to get beat up. You know, we have to pay to go in cold water. We have to pay for inconvenience and these discomforting things. You know? So
I want to touch on something that because it just came to my mind right now because I was just looking at one.
That's so true.
75 years ago, I'm going to speak directly at the camera because I want you guys to understand this. 75 years ago, we didn't have hot water heaters. Okay? So your shower was cold all the time. Freezing cold, 37 degrees, whatever. It was freezing cold. Now, you can finance a nice cold plunge for $3,500. Yeah. To get the same.
That's crazy.
Like think about it. Like we have to pay. We are paying for hardship essentially, and the contrast is so. And it goes back to this book here that I'm sure we're going to talk about. But the contrast that we show these guys at True North is there's a big difference between being a good man and being good at being a man.
Yeah.
And you have to have a mixture of both, but it's more so being good at being a man because you can be a really good man. Like good men are the cause of most of the terrible things that have ever happened in the world. It's because of good men who are not good at being men.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we're in a lot of the situations that we're in now.
I love
it's because they're trying so hard to be good men, and they're like pushing away the whole thing, like the whole purpose of the reason why we're here on this earth, the reason why you were born as a man, like the reason, like you are supposed to lead.
Come on.
You know,
come on.
You are supposed to help, you know, protect the perimeter and gain resources and have a family and protect the fucking women and children and like, you know,
come on.
But no, I'm going to be a good man. And you know, whatever. And it's like, no.
Yeah, that's not the whole puzzle.
That's not the whole puzzle.
Yeah,
you have to be good at being a man too.
Yeah.
And that's the, you know, the parallel that we bring together at True North.
That's awesome.
And that's the reason why we do so many different things there, where it's like, it's not just, you know, diving deep into your spiritual self or doing physical stuff. It's a whole host of, you know, it's 4 days of like, we're going to touch different parts of your like physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, like all these things. And you get to really see what your True North really is.
Awesome.
So,
wow. Yeah. So this book we mentioned here, this is your copy, by the way.
Thank you.
It's called The Way of Men by Jack Donovan. He was just actually on our podcast last week or so.
Wow.
Yeah. He's become a buddy of ours. And this is like my favorite author. It's so crazy.
So crazy.
But I want to tell you the core values that are in here. So they have the tactical virtues, but then it's strength, courage, mastery, and honor. And they dive into what these things mean, not just like in general, but like from a perspective of like men and what our role has been throughout society, throughout history. You know, like Adam was getting at, like, think all the way back to the earliest days, right? We had to essentially, what do we do? If the three of us just like popped into a woods, like say we're like in a video game, like, oh shit, where are we, right?
Yeah.
Well, we need to establish a perimeter. Like, what is our spot? Like, what are we doing, you know? And then we're going to protect it, figure out what we need to do. And then we're going to naturally expand it and keep protecting it. And then now it's dark, we need to start a fire, like the basic things, you know? And he does such a good job explaining the basic things of masculinity. And as you're reading about the basics, you're like, well, shit, I don't really ever think about that stuff. I don't ever work on that stuff. I'm focused on, you know, and filling all the blank with all the stuff you see on social media. That's what I've been focusing on, to like, oh wait, I actually have no idea what it means to be a man, you know? And, and everywhere I'd look for that answer, I'm told that being a man is bad. I'm told that it's toxic. I'm told that it's crazy, you know, it's something that is, you know, frowned upon. And it's like, no, it's not. So, you know, we take a pretty unique look at it, you know, and try to develop every part of it, and I need it. We all need it. You know?
Absolutely.
And we do everything that we run through that camp. We do ourselves. None of it is, hey, everyone go jump in that water, or everyone do this or do that. It's like, first. Like we're explaining and we're facilitating and we're giving our lessons that we prepared and everything, but then we're in there. We're getting stabbed, you know, we're getting shot, we're doing these things, or we're in there.
It's way more awesome than it sounds.
We're in there, you know, with tears and snot on our face, and like we're doing all the things. I know that probably sounded kind of,
but we're getting stabbed. Michael Johnson, thank you, sir. Shockwave Defense.
Yeah, Michael Johnson. Out. Yeah, we did a podcast with him too. You might find some. Actually, I mean, the dude's a genius. Yeah, okay, I mean, he's a hand-to-hand combat expert. Wow. So we don't call him a self-defense guy. He's a guy that's like, no, if there's a problem, here's the offensive stuff you need to know, you know, and how to protect against it. But dude, his mind has developed in such a way from decades of doing that it's just like, he's such a good guy to learn from. You know, when you go through all that and you teach other guys how to like come out of their shell and be comfortable, like, owning that they're a man, you know, and watching them level up. It's just so cool.
It's necessary.
Yeah. It's
necessary, man.
Especially right now when there's so much freaking confusion in the world. Like, what's a man? Am I allowed to be a man? Is she a man? Like all these things. It's like, no, dude. It's like, crazy. We have to know who we are, or we don't have any idea where we're going to go.
Correct. Yeah.
She is not a man.
No, she's not a man. No, that's right.
She is not.
Yeah. So this is your book.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, from Jack Donovan. Hope you enjoy that. There's like 4 or 5 more after that. The one called Fire in the Dark, at the end, I literally yelled out loud as I finished reading it. I was so fired up, and I need to read it again.
It's awesome.
So just got just like one more question for you. You know, we talk about earning this and earning that and everything. You've certainly gone through a life of having to earn things the hard way, which I think is the right way, you know, because you appreciate things more when you have earned them and not just been handed to them. So like, so in your own words, like, and through your own experience, like, what does it mean to truly earn it all, to earn everything in life? And what would you say to someone that's like, kind of like not sure that they can, like, they don't really, they see the cars, they see the success, they see the happiness, and they're like, I don't know if that's for me. Like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, what would you say to someone that's kind of not sure how and if they could even earn it?
I love that. I think speaking into them, what that really means is earning it is stepping in every day and just getting a little bit better, doing the things that you know you need to do, like that voice, that call, like whether it's to start that business, whether it's to leave that relationship, whether it's, you know, you shouldn't be hanging out with those friends. I think like the more you listen to that voice and lean into that, you know, that's going to get you there. I would also say that everybody that I've met that is really, really successful has some type of past and also was at a place where they didn't believe in themselves and that they weren't a man of courage and honor and all the virtues that you guys are talking about. That's okay. Start where you're at, but don't stay there. That's okay, but you can evolve and grow. And that's the beautiful part. You're going to have a great testimony, a great story at the end of that. And I would encourage you that don't compare yourself to anybody else. You'd be surprised what can happen in literally a year of you saying yes to the greater part of you and going to work on yourself. It's never too late. And you earn it, because when you earn it, you help other people earn it. And really, that's what life's about. It's like truly, when you go out and choose to be the best version of yourself, you don't just take yourself, but you elevate everybody around you.
It's so true.
Love that.
It's not so too late. I think that's probably the coolest thing about it, you know, either from a coach perspective and a personal perspective, is when you see how it helps other people. It's like, dude, this is all worth it. You know, even like one like testimony or one like you helped me or one you saved this or one, I don't even know, like I just feel better. It's just like, it's so good to help people. And when you live in that mentality of like, I'm not looking for a shortcut or a handout, I am all in on earning whatever it is that I want. Other people see that, they're inspired by it. And that's how we kind of grow this thing. And this, by this thing, I mean society.
Correct.
This is how we grow men to another level, how we grow society to another level. And it all starts with the individual acknowledging that it's on me. Like it's on me, it's on you, it's on you, it's on me, you know, to get out there and do what we need to do.
Absolutely.
Level
up.
Well, dude, level up. Well, I think we can end it with that, David. Thank you so much for flying all the way out here from Miami. This is a phenomenal talk, man. And if anyone's, you know, I'm sure there will be people that want to connect with you. All this stuff is down below, so we don't have to spit it out. But dude, I'm excited to be in your circle, and I can't thank you for enough for joining us.
It's been an honor. Thank you guys.
Fuck yeah.